Never react, never explain. Machiavelli's 7 dark psychology tricks. Hey warriors, you are bleeding power every single day, and you don't even know it. Every time you defend yourself, you lose. Every time you explain your actions to someone who never deserves an explanation, you lose. Every time you react, raise your voice, justify your silence, or chase someone who walked away, you hand them a knife and beg them to cut you with it. This is the truth no one taught you. The world is not a kind place waiting to reward the patient and the honest. It is a chessboard, and right now, most of you are playing checkers while the people around you, your coworkers, your rivals, even the ones who call themselves your friends, are 3 moves ahead. Machiavelli understood this over 500 years ago. Not as a villain, not as a monster, as a surgeon. He cut open human nature and showed us exactly what lies inside. The hunger for dominance, the instinct to exploit weakness, the cold calculation beneath every warm smile. And the single greatest weakness he identified? Reaction. The man who reacts is the man who is controlled. The man who explains is the man who is guilty. The man who chases is the man who has already lost. Today, I'm going to give you Machiavelli's 7 dark psychology tricks to make you psychologically untouchable. Not louder, not angrier, not more aggressive. Untouchable. By the end of this video, you will understand why your silence is more terrifying than any argument you could ever win. You will know how to make people respect you without asking for it, beg for your attention without receiving it, and fear your stillness more than another man's rage. Stay with me. Every word matters. Rule 1. The man who explains himself has already surrendered. Let's begin with the one habit that is quietly destroying your power every single day. You explain yourself. Someone doubts you. You explain. Someone misunderstands you. You explain. Someone accuses you. You explain. And every single time you open your mouth to justify your existence to someone who does not deserve the privilege of your reasoning, you confirm one thing to every person watching. You need their approval. And the moment someone knows you need their approval, they own you. Machiavelli wrote in The Prince, "It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both." Now, most people read that line and think it is about cruelty. It is not. It is about neediness. Love, the kind Machiavelli is warning you about, requires constant maintenance. You must perform. You must please. You must explain why you're worthy of it. Fear, real psychological fear, the kind that comes from unpredictability and stillness, requires nothing from you. It is generated in the mind of the other person. You don't explain it into existence. You don't argue for it. You simply become someone whose inner world is inaccessible. Here is the dark psychology behind why explaining destroys you. When you explain yourself, you are activating a social mechanism called justification seeking. The human brain is wired to probe for weakness. When you offer an explanation, the other person's mind does not register it as honesty. It registers it as a crack in the wall. And what do people do with cracks? They push. You say, "I didn't mean it that way." They push harder. You say, "I was just trying to help." They push harder. You say, "You're misunderstanding me." They push harder. Every word you offer in defense is oxygen on a fire you should have let burn itself out in silence. Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." He did not mean this as a motivational quote for a gym wall. He meant it as a war principle. The outside event, the accusation, the misunderstanding, the provocation, is not where your battle is. Your battle is entirely internal. Can you sit inside the fire of someone else's judgment and not flinch? That stillness is not weakness. It is the most terrifying weapon in existence. Real life scenario. You're in a workplace meeting. A colleague questions your idea in front of everyone, maybe even mocks it. The room is watching. The old you jumps in immediately, defends, explains the logic, gets slightly defensive. The new you? You let the silence breathe for 3 full seconds. You say 4 words, "Noted. Let's move on," and then nothing else. From today, pause, breathe, close your mouth. Let 3 seconds of silence exist, then redirect or walk away entirely. No anger, no coolness, just a man who has somewhere more important to be. Because the most powerful message you can send another human being is this: your opinion of me is not worth my words. Rule 2. Never react in the moment. Make them wait for your move. Reaction is the slave's reflex. When someone provokes you and you react immediately, anger, defensiveness, hurt, withdrawal, you have told them everything they need to know about how to control you. You have handed them the remote control to your emotional state. And once someone has that remote, they will press the buttons forever. Machiavelli wrote, "The lion cannot protect himself from traps, and the fox cannot defend himself from wolves. One must therefore be a fox to recognize traps, and a lion to frighten wolves." This is not a metaphor about strength. This is a blueprint about timing. The lion who charges the moment he sees the trap dies in the trap. The fox who circles, observes, waits, finds another path entirely. Your reaction in the moment is the trap. People who try to provoke you are not doing it because they are powerful. They are doing it because it is the only tool they have. They trigger you because they cannot outthink you. They provoke you because they cannot outlast you. The moment you react, you descend to their level. Don't fight in the arena they built. Epictetus said, "It is not he who gives abuse that affronts, but the view we take of it as insulting." Your reaction is not an involuntary human response. It is a choice, and you have been choosing incorrectly. From today, institute the 24-hour rule. You will not respond emotionally in the moment. You will not send a text. You will not make the call. You will wait 24 hours. Not because you are afraid, because you're giving yourself time to respond as the fox, not react as the lion walking into a trap. After 24 hours, most provocations are not worth a single word. Silence, chosen, deliberate, timed silence, is not passivity. It is the most aggressive psychological move on the board. Rule 3. Make yourself unreadable. The power of the closed book. You know why people can control you? Because they have read you. They know what makes you angry. They know what you fear. They know what you want. They know who you love, and therefore, who you would hurt yourself to protect. You handed them this information, not in one conversation, in 1,000 small moments of transparency, oversharing, and the desperate human need to be understood. And they took notes. Machiavelli was ruthlessly clear on this. A prince never lacks legitimate reasons to break his promise. The man who shows his full hand loses every negotiation. We live in a culture that weaponizes vulnerability. But there is a critical difference between chosen vulnerability with the right people and habitual transparency that turns you into an open book that anyone can read at any moment. The habitual oversharer does not build trust. They build a database. Jung called it the shadow, the parts of ourselves we hide even from our own awareness. The man who controls what others see controls what others think. You are not hiding out of shame. You are selecting what to reveal as a strategic act. From today, practice this discipline for 30 days. Speak 30% less than you currently do in every social situation. Give the essential core and stop. Answer briefly and redirect. Respond with what you're doing, not what you are feeling. Watch how the dynamic shifts within 2 weeks. Rule 4. Destroy the need to win every argument. Winning the argument is losing the war. Every time you corner someone with logic, demolish their position publicly, or humiliate them in debate, you have made an enemy. Maybe a quiet enemy, but an enemy. And quiet enemies are infinitely more dangerous than loud ones. Machiavelli wrote, "Men ought either to be well treated or crushed, because they can avenge themselves of lighter injuries, of more serious ones they cannot." When you embarrass someone in an argument, you have injured them lightly, enough to feel the wound, not enough to eliminate them. You have created resentment without achieving destruction. The man who must win every verbal exchange is not displaying confidence. He is displaying insecurity. The man who lets someone win a trivial argument and smiles as he walks away, knowing exactly what he just did, is the most dangerous man in the room. Real life scenario. A family member challenges you at dinner. You could dismantle them. Instead, You smile slightly and say, "That's an interesting perspective," and you eat your food. The table sees a man so unbothered he didn't even engage. They threw their best shot, and it landed in empty air. From today, every time you feel the pull to argue, ask yourself one question: what do I actually gain if I win this? If the answer is nothing of substance, you let it go, with genuine disinterest, because the truly powerful man is building something larger than any single argument. And that work is too important to interrupt. Rule 5. Train people how to treat you, and never renegotiate the terms. Every relationship you have is governed by a set of unspoken terms. How much access people have to your time, how they speak to you, what behavior they believe you will tolerate. And here is the brutal truth: you set those terms. Every time, not with a speech, with what you allow, what you ignore, what you walk away from. Machiavelli was unsparing. It is much safer to be feared than loved, because love is preserved by the link of obligation which, owing to the baseness of men, is broken at every opportunity. People will treat you exactly as well as you have consistently demonstrated you require, and not a fraction better. When you allow someone to cross a line and do not respond, you have not avoided conflict. You have confirmed a new line. This is basic behavioral conditioning. Every human probes the boundaries of the people around them to understand how much latitude they have. When you give infinite latitude, you get infinite disrespect. You don't train people with anger. You train them with your behavior. The man who leaves the room when someone speaks to him disrespectfully, without drama, without explanation, is sending a message louder than any argument could. From today, audit every relationship with one question: what am I allowing that I would not have allowed 3 years ago? You reclaim it through consistent, quiet behavioral redefinition. One non-reaction at a time. One graceful exit at a time. Until the terms have been silently renegotiated on your terms entirely. Rule 6. Strategic withdrawal. The power of becoming scarce. Abundance destroys value. When you are always available, always present, always responsive, always accommodating, you communicate one thing: I have nothing more important than you. And that single message, repeated daily, will cost you every ounce of respect and attraction the other person ever felt for you. Machiavelli wrote, "A wise man will seek to acquire only that reputation which is truly deserved." Reputation is built not only by what you do, but by how rarely you appear. The prince who rides through the city every day becomes furniture. The prince who appears once, at the exact moment of maximum impact, commands awe. When you respond to every message within minutes, you signal your time is low in demand. When you rearrange your schedule for everyone, you signal your priorities are negotiable. The human mind automatically devalues what costs nothing to obtain. Nietzsche said, "What does not kill me makes me stronger." The difficulty of the path creates the value of the destination. If arriving at you costs nothing, you are worth nothing. If arriving at you requires patience, timing, and genuine effort, you are worth everything. From today, be genuinely, substantively busier, not as a tactic, as a commitment to your own development. Fill your hours with work that matters, skills that compound, a body you are building, a mind you are sharpening. Let your availability naturally become scarce, because your life is too full to accommodate everyone on demand. Real scarcity is the only kind that creates permanent respect. Rule 7. Become the man who cannot be used. Eliminate all visible desperation. And now we arrive at the final rule, the deepest one, the one that contains all the others. Every rule we have discussed, not explaining, not reacting, making yourself unreadable, letting go of arguments, training people through behavior, becoming scarce, they all converge on one destination: the elimination of visible desperation. Desperation, in any form, is the most powerful signal of weakness a human being can broadcast. And the world will respond to that signal immediately, instinctively, and ruthlessly. Machiavelli. Men are driven by two principal impulses, either by love or by fear. The men who are loved conditionally and feared not at all, are driven by desperation. The need to be chosen, the need to be approved, the need to be needed. And that need, visible, tangible, radiating off a man in every interaction, is an open wound. And the world will find it and use it. Desperation manifests in subtle forms you may express every day. Checking if someone read your message and sending a follow-up when they haven't responded. Monitoring who views your social media. Changing your position the moment someone pushes back with emotion. Accepting behavior you find unacceptable because the alternative is losing the relationship. Each of these is desperation, dressed differently, but identical at the root. Schopenhauer wrote, "The greatest of follies is to sacrifice health, energy, and peace of mind for the attainment of what men call success." The people whose approval you most desperately want are the people who most reliably withhold it. The cruel irony. The more you need their approval, the less you will receive it. And the moment you genuinely stop needing it, they will offer it freely. From today, implement the non-attachment audit. Every week, identify one area where you are operating from desperation rather than genuine desire, and begin to withdraw the desperation. Not the effort, not the care, not the ambition, the need. Because effort without neediness is power. Care without desperation is magnetic. Ambition without external validation as the fuel is the most unstoppable force a human being can generate. Conclusion. We have covered 7 laws today. 7 rules built not from modern self-help optimism, but from the cold, clear, undefeated wisdom of a man who studied princes, republics, warfare, and human betrayal for his entire life. Never explain yourself to those who don't deserve your reasoning. Never react in a moment. Make them wait. Make yourself unreadable. Let go of the need to win every argument. Train people through your behavior, not your words. Become strategically scarce. Eliminate visible desperation. If you apply these 7 rules consistently over months and years, something will happen that no one will be able to explain. Rooms will shift when you enter them. People will speak more carefully around you. Those who once dismissed you will begin to study you. Those who once tested you will stop, because the test no longer produces a reaction. You will not have become louder. You will not have become meaner. You will have become something far more rare. A man who cannot be read, cannot be provoked, cannot be used. Machiavelli wrote, "There is nothing more difficult to take in hand, more perilous to conduct, or more uncertain in its success than to take the lead in the introduction of a new order of things." You're introducing a new order into your own psychology, into your relationships, into the way the world encounters you. The game never ends. The provocations will not stop. The manipulators will not retire. But now you know the rules. Not their rules. Your rules. And the man who writes the rules cannot be beaten by those still learning how to play. This is your territory now. Protect it.